Is Sivakarthikeyan kind of skeptical about projecting himself as a bona fide action star? It's like he needs crutches to prop himself up in any film that has him in a proper action avatar. In Mahaveeran, you had voice in his head. In Amaran, he played a soldier. In Hero, he played a superhero with gadgets around him. Somewhere it makes you wonder if he has doubts about it, or does people around him tell him that he's not yet reached that level of stardom. Vanakkam and welcome to Cinema Express. This is Avinash Ramachandran. In this video review episode, we are going to look at director A.R. Murugadoss' Madharaasi, starring Sivakarthikeyan, Rukmini Vasanth, Biju Menon, Vidyut Jammwal and a bunch of other actors. This video review episode will have spoilers. Please watch it at your own discretion. In many ways, Madharaasi felt like this showreel of the greatest hits of Murugadoss' filmography. Just like in Gajini, you have a protagonist who has a mental health issue, and in this film, it's almost very funny in a way that our heroes always have this complex, and when he sees anyone suffering, when he sees anyone in trouble, he goes out of the way to help them because he sees his family members in them. So it is a very fascinating premise. It's almost giving a logic to the age-old masala template. So in a way, Murugadoss subverts a lot of cliches in this film, primarily with the protagonist character played by Sivakarthikeyan. Raghu, as I said, has this issue where he has to take up violence to help people. And there's a way where the heroine is sketched, the way the character of Malati is sketched. Here, the reason why they come together, the reason why they split up, it's quite interesting. And I think these kind of small nifty touches help the film a lot, but Madharaasi isn't interested in being a sentimental drama. It isn't interested in being a family drama. It is very much an action drama with the weightage more on the action part because the film has so many action sequences. They are good, they are well staged, they are wonderfully captured by Sudeep Eleman, but in some ways the film doesn't take a breather to understand what makes Raghu this way, why his separation from Malati made him this way, or even the idea of gun violence seeping into our society, the way it could turn into something else, how the city will deal with these things, how the solution might be coming up. None of this is explored because Murugadoss is very clear. It is a film that is coming after a lot of setbacks in his own career, so he wants to give a direct action extravaganza, and that is what was promised, and that's what was delivered. Helping him in this endeavor is Vidyut Jammwal's terrific antagonist called Virat, and he's ably supported by Shabir, who plays Virat's friend Chirag, and it's almost like a very Anjan-esque situation where we saw Surya and Vidyut playing very similar roles, and what if those two are the antagonists in the film? That is what is the primary antagonist of Madharaasi. It's a very simple film. It's a very straightforward film. The film doesn't take any risk. It's direct. It's in your face. The film moves from point A to point B and then to point C and then to point D. There is no non-linear. There is nothing happening that might suddenly surprise you. It's a very predictable film. But through it all, the film has enough touches, enough writing flourishes to make you think, okay, let's see what happens next. I know what's going to happen next, but still let me see how they're going to get there. These things become the strength of Madharaasi. Imagine this. It's a silent night. Cars are zooming here and there. The police understand that it's a huge gun consignment coming into the city. They want to stop it anyhow. They are completely flanking these containers. Suddenly you hear gunshots. Suddenly you hear people scrambling for their lives. They are shrieking, they are shouting, cars are getting blown away, they are being crushed to smithereens. And then the main police officer, played by Biju Menon, takes his binoculars and trains it on someone who is beating people left, right and center. He is doing these wonderful moves, almost gliding in the air to dismantle people coming at him, and you would almost expect that to be the introduction shot of Sivakarthikeyan, right? It is how we are introduced to Vidyut's Virat, and it's fascinating how it's completely in contrast. The first time we meet Raghu is when he's just sauntering into a space where he's going to sing and dance about his love failure, his heartbreak, and the reason why he's going to try committing suicide multiple times in this film. So it's a very fascinating thing where Murugadoss is saying, do not follow the actors, follow the characters, and that is quite a good move, because once you remove that from the head, you remove the idea that this is a Sivakarthikeyan film, this is a Vidyut Jammwal film, it makes things easier because you are following characters doing certain things in the narrative. That really helps Madharaasi because, as I said, the core is very simple, the narrative is very predictable. So you need the character sketch to be very interesting for you to follow what's happening, and that in many ways works in favor of Madharaasi. Keeping the action aside, which is aplenty, you have the romance and the sentiment portions of it, and that is taken care of by Sivakarthikeyan's character and Rukmini Vasanth's character. They wonderfully play off against each other, the chemistry is good, the montage sequences actually are cute, are nice, they are actually a very soft, interesting space. It goes into details where Rukmini's character isn't just there to say that, come on, you can do this, Raghu. No, it's not just a damsel in distress either. She is the reason why the wheel is set in motion. She is the reason why these two worlds of Raghu and Virat suddenly find themselves in against each other. It's the reason, she is the reason why a lot of things happen. And that helps the film because it's not something that we haven't seen before. Because let's say Sanjay Ramasamy and Gajini existed because something happened to his girl and then he had to go and exact revenge on the perpetrators. And then there's a very Tuppaki reminiscent scene which has multiple people holding guns in a split screen and you are waiting with bated breath to see if they actually pull the trigger. But this time you're not rooting for the people pulling it, you hope they don't. So such subversions, such neat ideas are being played out in Madharaasi, but they come very far and few in between because, as I said earlier, the film is very much an action-packed film and it's the action sequences that have the most focus. They are quite inventive. They are quite interesting. The hand-to-hand combats between many of the players are very wonderful to see on screen. The visuals are very enticing. The blood is quite gory, but somehow since the film doesn't really take itself too seriously after a point, the film doesn't really dwell on a lot of things that could have probably like what will happen if the gun culture becomes too much, or what will happen if this particular character with a mental health disorder loses it completely at a very important juncture. No, it is not taking too many risks. It's very simple and straightforward. The violence is there, the blood is there, the action is there, the kicks, the punches, the slaps, everything is there. And still, because the film is framed in a way that you're not really in the violence part of it, as in, you remember how we saw Amaran and we felt like we are in the battlefield, right? As in the camera movement, the way the scenes are staged, it all makes you feel that you are part of the combat. That's not the case here. Even when you're seeing Sivakarthikeyan's bloodied knuckles, when you're seeing Vidyut Jammwal standing on top of an actor and trying to kick him down, you are just seeing it as a spectacle. When the cars are flying, when the buildings are bombed, when everything goes up in flames, you're still seeing it as a spectacle. I think that works in favor of the film, also with the favor of, it also works in the favor of Sivakarthikeyan's image because, let's be honest, he has not done such an action-packed film before. There are a few gaps in the way Murugadoss tries to bring together the worlds of his own and then the comic touches of Sivakarthikeyan, because this Raghu character could have been a lot more, but it is relegated to a rather one-note character with quite an elevated performance by Sivakarthikeyan. Interestingly, Murugadoss gives enough weightage to characters around him too. Like there are spies in both the gangster world and the police world, the way they get their fitting ends, the way their arcs find a way of completion, they get moments of heroism. The reason why Biju Menon's character Prem also has his emotional weightage into this battle, the reason why a lot of these things come into place, this is a writing which is quite good, but it's also superficial. But it's not superficial because of not knowing that it is. They very well know that this film is not going to delve deep into a lot of things. It is very happy being superficial. And if they're voluntarily just doing a surface level exploration of themes, then what can you say except, well, you did a good job of keeping it surface level. The film does talk about mental health a bit. It's also very flippant about the way it talks about suicide. But it also deals with the reasoning of what constitutes normalcy. I like those dialogue exchanges between Rukmini and Sivakarthikeyan where they discuss what it means to be normal, what is right in society, what is wrong in society, and how it's simple that majority doesn't always mean they are right. So such things are nice. Such things are very profound, such things are poignant, but such things are so rare in this film, where it's mainly about Sivakarthikeyan flexing his muscles, Vidyut proving that he is probably one of the best out there when it comes to showcasing on-screen action sequences. And most importantly, it's a good enough comeback for Murugadoss. As I walked out of the film, I could understand why a lot of people in this film said yes to Madharaasi. Sivakarthikeyan gets a film that establishes his action hero credentials, even if he still is not going full on. He's literally pulling back his punches. I wish he doesn't. And then there's Rukmini, who plays this character that is not a typical damsel in distress. It has shades of it, and it shows that she has the way of doing roles that might seem run of the mill, but it's not. And then there is this film about Vidyut Jammwal, who is just brilliant. And then this is the film about Murugadoss, proving to the world yet again that he has not lost his mojo. But what really stuck with me was how the film dealt with the concept of being a Madharaasi, or being someone who can call a city their own. When something wrong happens, what do we do? When a crime happens in front of us, what do we do? When you know you can do something, do we really do something? Do we think of the repercussions? Are we bogged down by the idea of what would happen to us? What would happen to people around us? What will this entail? See, Madharaasi might not be this profound film that talks about the idea of identity. It's not. But it touches upon that in a very, very commercial way that I think it was one of those writing flourishes that didn't really find its due, but it's there somewhere underneath the film. Because I thought, what constitutes normalcy, as the film discusses? What constitutes right? What constitutes wrong? Madharaasi made me think, if I see something wrong outside, if someone around me sees something wrong outside, what should we do? What would we do? Would we pull off what Raghu did? Or would we do what the rest of the world does? We'll never know. And it's very surprising that Madharaasi made me go on this route, made me think of these profound things, and made me think that's more than what I could say about a lot of other commercial films that have come recently. On that note, if you like this review, do like, share, and subscribe to Cinema Express, and let us know what you thought of this review and the film. Until we meet in the next episode, this is your friendly neighborhood critic, Avinash Ramachandran, signing off. Tata.